When the world needed speed, adventure, and soul, the motorcycles of the 1960s answered the call. Built with raw passion and undiluted spirit, these bikes captured hearts across continents. These are the 15 most loved motorcycles of the 1960s. Number 15, Velocette Venom Clubman, 1962. The Velocette Venom Clubman from 1962 was one of those rare machines that captured the essence of pure, uncompromising motorcycling. Born in the workshops of Birmingham, England, this bike was not about flashy looks or gimmicks. It was about precision, pride, and a raw connection between rider and road. At the heart of the Velocette Venom Clubman was a four-stroke, air-cooled, single-cylinder engine displacing 499 cubic centimeters. This was not just any motor. It was a hand-built piece of mechanical artistry, tuned for riders who wanted their machine to feel alive underneath them. Every twist of the throttle felt deliberate. Every surge of power, a reminder that this bike was bred from racing DNA. Top speed was officially recorded at around 103 miles per hour, a remarkable achievement for a single-cylinder machine in its day. But the magic of the Clubman was not just how fast it could go. It was how it carried itself, getting there. It was smooth, determined, and with a sense of purpose that bigger bikes often lacked. Horsepower output was rated at roughly 34 horsepower, delivered in a crisp, linear rush that rewarded skill and finesse. It was not a bike you manhandled. It was a bike you worked with, a partner, rather than a machine to be dominated. Riders loved that feeling of connection, the sense that the Venom Clubman was as much a part of them as the leathers they wore. Torque came in at a strong 34 pound-feet, arriving early and holding steady, giving the bike an easy, confident pull through real-world riding conditions. Whether charging through sweeping countryside lanes or threading through tight city streets, the Clubman always felt ready to respond with steady, usable power. Fuel economy averaged close to 70 miles per gallon, making it not only a fast and thrilling ride, but a practical one for long weekend adventures. This combination of efficiency, reliability, and pure mechanical joy made it one of the most loved motorcycles of its decade. The Velocette Venom Clubman was not about being the biggest or the loudest. It was about being right, and for riders who knew what they were looking for, nothing else came close. Number 14, BSA Lightning Rocket, 1964. There are motorcycles that define a brand, and then there are motorcycles that define a generation. The BSA Lightning Rocket from 1965 was the kind of machine that burned itself into memory the moment you kicked it to life. With its punchy twin engine and sleek styling, it was built for riders who wanted more than just transportation. They wanted excitement. At its heart was a four-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 654 cubic centimeters. It was a motor tuned with a little extra fire compared to BSA's more conservative offerings, giving the Lightning Rocket an edge that riders could feel with every twist of the throttle. From the very first crack of the exhaust, it was clear that this bike meant business. Top speed was recorded at around 108 miles per hour, a figure that made it one of the quicker machines on the streets during its prime. But what truly won riders over was how easily the Lightning Rocket delivered that speed. No drama, just a steady, forceful surge that made every open stretch of road feel like a personal playground. Horsepower output sat close to 48 horsepower, offering just the right balance between lively performance and everyday usability. The bike never felt twitchy or temperamental. Instead, it delivered its power with a steady confidence that kept riders grinning for miles on end. Torque measured near 42 pound-feet, a number that translated into strong mid-range grunt and effortless roll-on acceleration. Whether carving through tight corners or cruising down a long highway, the Lightning Rocket always felt ready to respond. Fuel economy averaged around 50 miles per gallon, a reminder that this bike was not just about short bursts of speed, but about long, adventurous rides that stretched well beyond the horizon. Its combination of spirited performance and surprising efficiency made it a favorite among riders who craved both thrills and freedom. The BSA Lightning Rocket was not built to play it safe. It was built to make an impression. And for riders who lived for the thrill of the ride, it delivered that feeling in every twist of the throttle. Number 13, BMW R69 S 1960. Every once in a while, a motorcycle comes along that feels like it was engineered for the long haul from the very first bolt. The BMW R69S from 1960 was exactly that kind of machine. A bike designed not just for performance, but for a lifetime of unforgettable rides. Beneath its graceful silhouette lived a four-stroke, air-cooled, flat twin boxer engine, displacing 594 cubic centimeters. This was not an engine that demanded attention. It earned respect quietly, delivering smooth, dependable power with every twist of the throttle. The low-slung boxer layout gave the R69S unmatched balance, making it a dream to handle even when fully loaded for cross-country adventures. Top speed was recorded near 109 miles per hour, a figure that placed it among the finest touring bikes of its time. Yet it was not just about how fast the BMW could go. It was about how effortlessly it could stay there, mile after mile, without complaint or fatigue. Horsepower output was rated at around 42 horsepower, arriving in a steady, unhurried wave that made long-distance travel feel almost effortless. The R69S was never frantic or aggressive. It simply pulled you forward with a calm, reassuring strength that riders fell in love with. Torque came in close to 44 pound-feet, providing solid mid-range pull, perfect for highway cruising and smooth overtakes. There was no need to fight the bike or search for the perfect gear. It just delivered quietly and confidently every single time. Fuel economy averaged near 55 miles per gallon, a remarkable figure for a bike capable of such strong performance. It meant fewer stops, longer rides, and more memories built on the open road. The BMW R69S was never built to chase headlines. It was built to carry dreams across continents. With unmatched engineering, effortless handling, and a spirit made for the long ride, it remains one of the most loved motorcycles to ever emerge from the 1960s. Number 12. Royal Enfield AX Interceptor 700 1960. The Royal Enfield VAX Interceptor 700 from 1960 was a bold and rugged twin that gave riders the kind of power and excitement they had been craving long before it became the norm. At the center of the VAX Interceptor, 700 was a four-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 692 cubic centimeters. Based closely on Royal Enfield's Constellation engine, but with key refinements. The VAX delivered stronger internals and more reliable performance, making it the foundation for a legend that would grow far beyond its modest beginnings. Top speed touched close to 103 miles per hour, an impressive number for a motorcycle designed to tackle the wide-open highways of North America. But speed was only part of the equation. What riders loved most was a sense of raw strength that the VAX offered, a feeling that stayed with you long after the ride ended. Horsepower output was rated around 49 horsepower, arriving with a lively, eager character that encouraged spirited riding. There was a directness to the way the VAX delivered its power, with every twist of the throttle, answering back with a throaty growl and a determined surge forward. Torque came in close to 53 pound-feet, giving the VAX strong pulling power across a wide range of conditions. Whether climbing steep backcountry hills or rolling through city traffic, the bike responded with a steady, confident shove that made it a favorite among serious riders. Fuel economy averaged near 47 miles per gallon, a figure that meant the VAX Interceptor 700 could go the distance just as easily as it could light up a stretch of open road. It was not a machine you had to baby, and it rewarded long rides with dependable performance. The Royal Enfield FIV AX Interceptor 700 was a motorcycle that gave riders exactly what they wanted at a time when the world was just beginning to realize how thrilling real performance could be. Number 11. Honda CB77 Superhawk 1963. In a decade filled with big promises and bigger dreams, the Honda CB77 Superhawk from 1961 stood out by simply delivering more than anyone expected. It was a motorcycle that proved performance did not have to come at the cost of reliability, and that speed could be wrapped in a package that was as elegant as it was durable. Powering the Honda CB77 Superhawk was a four-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 305 cubic centimeters. This engine was a marvel for its time, featuring a robust overhead camshaft design that let it rev higher and run harder than most larger bikes on the market. It was small only in size, not in spirit. Top speed hovered around 104 miles per hour, a staggering number for a bike of its displacement. Riders who swung a leg over the Superhawk found themselves grinning as they realized it could keep up with or even outpace many of the bigger, more traditional machines of the day. Horsepower output was rated near 28 horsepower, delivered with a smoothness that made the Superhawk feel lively without ever feeling fragile. The power came on predictably and with a delightful urgency that encouraged riders to push a little harder with every mile. Torque landed close to 18 pound-feet, arriving high in the rev range, which made the Superhawk a bike that rewarded spirited riding. It was a machine that loved to be kept on the boil, pulling eagerly toward its red line without a hint of hesitation. Fuel economy settled around 70 miles per gallon, another reminder that Honda was changing the game by offering both performance and practicality in one clean, stylish package. The Honda CB77 Superhawk did not just challenge expectations, it rewrote them. It was the motorcycle that showed the world that Japan could build machines to match or beat the best from Europe and America. In the landscape of the 1960s, few bikes earned their place in riders' hearts with as much grace and grit as the Superhawk. Number 10. Ducati Mach 1, 1965. Not every motorcycle needs brute strength to leave a lasting mark. Some, like the Ducati Mach 1 from 1965, won riders over with precision, speed, and a kind of mechanical grace that could only come from Italy's finest engineers. At the heart of the Ducati Mach 1 was a four-stroke, air-cooled, single-cylinder engine displacing 248 cubic centimeters. Light, lively, and eager to rev, this motor turned the relatively small machine into a serious contender on the streets and racetracks alike. It was not just another pretty face. It was a tool for serious riders who knew how to use it. Top speed was recorded at around 106 miles per hour, an astonishing figure for a quarter-liter motorcycle of its time. The Mach 1 was not about explosive, raw acceleration. It was about building speed smoothly, with a sense of purpose that felt addictive the more you twisted the throttle. Horsepower output was rated close to 27 horsepower, delivered in a crisp, linear fashion that made the Ducati feel alive under your hands. Riders loved the way the bike pulled steadily toward its peak, always asking for a little more commitment and rewarding it with a thrilling sense of momentum. Torque was measured near 17 pound-feet, coming high up in the rev range, encouraging riders to keep the motor spinning in its happy zone. It made every ride an active experience, one where you worked with the machine instead of just sitting back and letting it do the job. Fuel economy hovered around 68 miles per gallon, meaning the Ducati could cover serious distance without constantly searching for the next fuel stop. Practicality might not have been the first thing on riders' minds, but it was a welcome bonus for those who loved to wander far from home. The Ducati Mach 1 was not built for beginners. It was built for those who understood the joy of precision, the art of momentum, and the beauty of a perfectly tuned single-cylinder engine. Number 9. Norton Atlas 750, 1962. There are motorcycles that chase trends, and there are motorcycles that create them. The Norton Atlas 750 from 1962 belonged firmly to the second group, setting new expectations for what a big British twin could be with a blend of power, style, and sheer presence. Sitting at the heart of the Norton Atlas was a four-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 748 cubic centimeters. This motor was not just an enlarged version of Norton's earlier designs. It was a statement. It packed a stronger punch and a broader reach, aimed squarely at riders who wanted more muscle without sacrificing the brand's legendary handling. Top speed touched near 114 miles per hour, putting the Atlas among the faster street bikes of its day. But numbers alone could not explain its appeal. It was the way the bike built speed, a rising surge that felt solid, stable, and endlessly eager, that made it unforgettable to those lucky enough to ride one. Horsepower output hovered close to 55 horsepower, delivered with a gruff, determined pull that made every throttle twist feel rewarding. It was not the kind of power that came all at once. It arrived in a smooth, relentless wave, giving the rider complete control over how much speed to summon at any given moment. Torque was rated near 56 pound-feet, coming in strong through the mid-range, which made the Atlas feel punchy and responsive even at moderate revs. Whether accelerating out of a tight corner or cruising down a wide-open straight, the Atlas always had a reserve of strength waiting to be tapped. Fuel economy stayed around 44 miles per gallon, a solid figure for a motorcycle that delivered serious real-world performance. Riders who chose the Atlas found that it could handle long distances without turning fuel stops into a constant concern. The Norton Atlas 750 was more than just a bigger version of what had come before. It was a bold step forward, a bike that carried the classic British twin tradition into new territory with strength, poise, and a spirit that riders embraced fully. It was not just admired, it was truly loved. Agree with our picks? Or is there a forgotten gem you think deserves a spot? Share your thoughts down below. Hit like if you enjoyed the ride, and make sure to subscribe for more. Number 8. Harley-Davidson FLH Duo Glide Panhead, 1961. A great motorcycle does not just take you places, it becomes a part of the stories you tell for the rest of your life. The Harley-Davidson FLH Duo Glide Panhead from 1961 was exactly that kind of machine, built for riders who understood that the journey mattered just as much as the destination. Beating at the heart of the FLH Duo Glide Panhead was a 4-stroke air-cooled V-twin engine displacing 745 cubic centimeters. Known lovingly as the Panhead because of its signature rocker covers, this engine was a symbol of rugged reliability and endless miles. It delivered its power not with urgency, but with a calm confidence that suited the open highways it was born to conquer. Top speed reached close to 105 miles per hour, respectable for a heavyweight tourer that prioritized comfort over outright speed. The magic of the Duo Glide Panhead was not in how quickly it got there, but in how smoothly it made every mile disappear under its wide, comfortable saddle. Horsepower output settled around 55 horsepower, offering a steady and unflustered ride that gave riders all the strength they needed without ever feeling harsh. It was a motorcycle that invited you to settle in, find your rhythm, and keep going until the horizon itself gave way. Torque was rated near 65 pound-feet, a figure that gave the FLH Duo Glide Panhead its effortless cruising power. Rolling through hills or overtaking slower traffic, the bike never felt strained or rushed. It simply pressed forward with a steady, commanding surge. Fuel economy hovered close to 43 miles per gallon, which meant fewer interruptions on the long rides it was designed to enjoy. Thanks to the introduction of Harley's improved rear suspension setup, the Duo Glide name truly lived up to its promise of smoother, more comfortable travel. The Harley-Davidson FLH Duo Glide Panhead captured something timeless in the spirit of motorcycling. It was built for long journeys, endless stories, and a deep, lasting connection between rider and road in the hearts of 60s riders. Few bikes earned that kind of loyalty. Number 7. Triumph Bonneville T120, 1965. Every generation has a machine that captures its dreams, and in the 1960s, few motorcycles did it better than the Triumph Bonneville T120 from 1965. Fast, stylish, and unmistakably British, the Bonneville became an icon, not because it tried to be, but because it simply was. Sitting at the heart of the Bonneville T120 was a 4-stroke air-cooled parallel twin engine displacing 649 cubic centimeters, built with a focus on lightness, responsiveness, and mechanical honesty. It was an engine that delivered both the sound and the sensation that riders craved every time they kicked it to life. Top speed was recorded close to 115 miles per hour, a staggering figure for a road-going motorcycle of its day. But what riders loved most was not just how fast the Bonneville could go. It was the way the bike made every mile feel effortless, eager, and alive with possibility. Horsepower output came in at around 46 horsepower, arriving with a sharp and immediate surge that made the Bonneville feel lively in every gear. Twist the throttle, and it responded without hesitation, filling the air with the kind of soundtrack that would define an era. Torque landed close to 38 pound-feet, giving the Bonneville a strong and usable mid-range that made city streets, back roads, and open highways all feel like home turf. It was a bike that thrived on movement, offering strength exactly where real-world riders needed it most. Fuel economy averaged near 45 miles per gallon, a figure that let the Bonneville stretch its legs far between stops. For riders with a restless spirit and a taste for adventure, it offered the freedom to chase new roads without worrying about what was left in the tank. The Triumph Bonneville T120 was a symbol of freedom and individuality that captured the imagination of riders across the world. Even today, the sound of an old Bonneville firing to life still echoes with the spirit of a generation that refused to sit still. Number 6. Matchless G15 CSR 1966. Some motorcycles carry an underdog spirit that makes them even more beloved by the riders who choose them. The Matchless G15 CSR from 1965 was one of those bikes, a big British twin built to deliver real-world power and toughness at a time when the roads were getting faster and the competition fiercer. At the heart of the Matchless G15 CSR was a four-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 749 cubic centimeters. Based around the strong Atlas engine from Norton, but fitted into a classic matchless frame, the G15 offered a unique blend of muscle and character that set it apart from more polished rivals. Top speed was recorded close to 115 miles per hour, a number that put it shoulder to shoulder with the fastest machines of its day. But the real magic of the G15 was how it felt underneath you, solid, steady, and ready to devour the miles without complaint. Horsepower output hovered near 55 horsepower, delivered with a broad, steady pull that made the bike feel more muscular than its numbers suggested. It was not a machine that begged to be thrashed. Instead, it rewarded smooth hands and confident riding with a satisfying, relentless surge forward. Torque came in around 54 pound-feet, giving the G15 strong, mid-range grunt that made city riding and highway cruising equally enjoyable. Whether pulling away from a stoplight or rolling on the throttle in top gear, the bike answered with effortless strength. Fuel economy stayed close to 43 miles per gallon, a respectable figure for a large displacement twin that was happiest stretching its legs across open country. Riders who spent time in the saddle quickly discovered that the G15 was not just fast, it was built for the long haul. The Matchless G15 CSR was never the flashiest motorcycle of the 1960s, but that was never the point. It was about honest power, rugged reliability, and the kind of riding experience that stuck with you long after the engine fell silent. And for those who understood its appeal, no substitute would do. Number 5. Kawasaki W1 1966. Built with an eye on the American market and a heart full of ambition, the Kawasaki W1 marked the moment when Japan showed it could build a heavyweight machine to challenge the old guard. Powering the Kawasaki W1 was a four-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 624 cubic centimeters. Developed from the earlier Meguro models, but refined with Kawasaki's growing engineering skill, the engine offered a robust and steady performance that surprised riders used to thinking of Japanese bikes as small and tame. Top speed was recorded around 115 miles per hour, putting it firmly in the league of much bigger and better-known names. But the real joy of the W1 was not just its ability to go fast, it was the way it combined big bike presence with a level of smoothness that made every ride feel polished and confident. Horsepower output hovered near 50 horsepower, delivered in a calm, progressive surge that made the bike feel eager without ever feeling unpredictable. It was a machine that invited longer rides and higher speeds with the kind of steady reassurance that serious riders appreciated. Torque came in close to 48 pound-feet, giving the Kawasaki strong, steady acceleration that felt effortless at highway speeds. Twist the throttle and the W1 responded with a deep, rich sound that hinted at the muscle underneath its classic, understated styling. Fuel economy averaged around 45 miles per gallon, a figure that let the W1 go the distance without forcing constant stops for gas. Riders who spent time on one found it offered not just excitement, but also a level of everyday practicality that made it a true alternative to the dominant British bikes of the era. The Kawasaki W1 was more than just Japan's first serious big twin. It was a statement of intent, proof that Kawasaki could play in the same league as Triumph, BSA, and Norton. For many riders in the 1960s, it was love at first ride, and that love never faded. Number 4. Honda CB 450 Black Bomber 1965. Every now and then a motorcycle arrives that feels like it is challenging the entire industry to catch up. The Honda CB 450 Black Bomber from 1965 was exactly that kind of machine. Bold, innovative, and packed with ideas that would reshape motorcycling for decades to come. Underneath its sleek tank and sharp styling lived a four-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 444 cubic centimeters. But this was no ordinary twin. Honda gave the Black Bomber a double overhead camshaft design, a feature unheard of for a mid-size street bike at the time, and it instantly set a new benchmark for performance and refinement. Top speed hovered close to 105 miles per hour, an incredible number for a bike of its class. Riders who expected the CB450 to behave like a tame commuter quickly realized it had the heart of a thoroughbred, eager to stretch its legs at every opportunity. Horsepower output came in at approximately 43 horsepower, arriving with a lively and precise character that made the bike feel much bigger than its displacement suggested. The CB450 thrived on revs, urging riders to explore the upper reaches of its tachometer, where it sang with a crisp, mechanical clarity. Torque settled around 28 pound-feet, giving the Black Bomber a strong and flexible mid-range that made real-world riding effortless. It was quick off the line, responsive in traffic, and always ready to surge forward with just a twist of the throttle. Fuel economy stayed near 52 miles per gallon, allowing riders to enjoy all that performance without paying a heavy price at the pump. Combined with Honda's legendary reliability, it made the CB450 one of the most practical sporting bikes of its day. With its stunning engineering and daring spirit, the Honda CB450 Black Bomber earned a place in the hearts of riders who knew they were witnessing the future 1 mile at a time. Number 3. Norton Commando Fastback, 1968. When a motorcycle feels like it is rewriting the rules the first time you swing a leg over it, you know you are in the presence of something special. The Norton Commando Fastback from 1968 was exactly that. A machine that did not just evolve the British twin formula, it redefined it. At its core was a 4-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 745 cubic centimeters. Based on Norton's earlier Atlas engine but significantly reworked, the Commando's motor was mounted in a revolutionary isoelastic frame system that dramatically reduced vibration and transformed the riding experience. Top speed landed near 115 miles per hour, an impressive figure that placed it among the top performers of its era. But what really set the Commando Fastback apart was how composed it felt, even as the speedometer climbed, giving riders the confidence to push harder without being punished by relentless vibration. Horsepower output hovered close to 58 horsepower, delivered with a strong, even surge that made the Commando feel fast without ever feeling frantic. It was not just quick off the line, it was quick everywhere, whether you were blasting through sweeping curves or stretching its legs on an open highway. Torque measured around 53 pound-feet, arriving in a broad, flexible band that made everyday riding just as rewarding as spirited runs through the countryside. The Commando was always ready, whether you wanted to cruise lazily or pin the throttle and let it roar. Fuel economy stayed near 44 miles per gallon, a practical bonus that added to the bike's long-distance appeal. Combined with the relatively relaxed ergonomics and improved ride quality, the Commando became a genuine touring weapon, not just a weekend toy. The Norton Commando Fastback was not merely a better Norton, it was a better idea of what a British twin could be. It took everything riders loved about classic parallel twins and smoothed out the rough edges without losing the soul. In the story of 1960s motorcycles, few machines were loved as fiercely or remembered as fondly. Number 2. Triumph Trophy T100C, 1966. There are motorcycles built for showrooms, and then there are motorcycles built for the wild. The Triumph Trophy T100C from 1966 was firmly in the second camp, a rugged and ready twin that was just as comfortable tearing through backwoods trails as it was cruising down city streets. Powering the Triumph Trophy T100C was a 4-stroke, air-cooled, parallel twin engine displacing 491 cubic centimeters. Lighter and more nimble than many of its bigger brothers, the T100C was tuned for quick bursts of power, making it a favorite among riders who valued agility and spirit over sheer size. Top speed came in around 102 miles per hour, a figure that might not have broken records, but felt more than fast enough when you were blasting across dirt roads or hammering down rugged trails. The real appeal was how quickly the bike got up to speed and how controllable it stayed, even when the surface turned rough. Horsepower output was rated at approximately 39 horsepower, arriving with a lively and eager pull that made the trophy feel punchy and alert. It was a bike that encouraged you to ride harder, push further, and trust its lightweight frame to carry you through whatever lay ahead. Torque landed near 34 pound-feet, providing a strong mid-range that made quick work of steep climbs, loose gravel, and sandy stretches. Whether slipping through traffic or navigating rutted trails, the T100C had the kind of instant, usable power that kept the ride feeling exciting and under control. Fuel economy hovered around 50 miles per gallon, a figure that gave the trophy real range for long adventures away from paved roads. Riders who spent time with the T100C found that it was more than just a capable scrambler. It was a motorcycle that begged for open space and new challenges. The Triumph Trophy T100C was not about polish or flash, it was about the pure, unfiltered joy of riding, wherever the road or the lack of it might lead. For riders who valued freedom over frills, it became a legend. Number 1. Honda CB 754, 1969. The Honda CB 754 from 1969 was a revolution hiding behind a simple, elegant design, ready to rewrite the rules for everyone who dared to ride it. At the center of the Honda CB 754 was a 4-stroke, air-cooled, inline 4-engine displacing 736 cubic centimeters. It was the first time riders could get the kind of silky smooth, high-performance engine once reserved for racetracks, now tucked into a machine meant for the open road. Honda had not just raised the bar, they had launched it into the stratosphere. Top speed was recorded around 125 miles per hour, a number that left most rivals scrambling to catch up. But the real magic was not just in the speed, it was in how calmly the CB handled it, making even long stretches at full throttle feel easy and composed. Horsepower output came in near 67 horsepower, delivered through a wide, forgiving power band that made the bike equally friendly to seasoned racers and first-time superbike riders. Crack the throttle and the CB surged forward without drama, just pure, confident acceleration. Torque settled at about 44 pound-feet, providing strong, predictable pull that made highway passing effortless and city riding smooth and easy. Whether rolling on gently or twisting hard, the CB responded with a kind of mechanical grace few bikes had ever achieved. Fuel economy stayed close to 44 miles per gallon, a figure that gave the CB real-world usability to match its headline-grabbing performance. Riders could go fast, go far, and enjoy every mile without worrying about constant fuel stops or mechanical drama. The Honda CB 754 did not just define the superbike class, it created it. It proved that high performance could be reliable, that innovation could be accessible, and that one machine could change everything. From racetrack heroes to everyday legends, these 15 bikes earned their place in history. Which one is your favorite, or is there one we forgot? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if you loved the ride, and subscribe for more classic motorcycle adventures.